Bible entry that I'm doing using the Altitude Mountains that are in the Print and Pray shop by Elaine Davis. They are so cute. I'm also using a couple of things from the latest Illustrated Faith kit, How He Loves Us, as well as the stamp set, and just a couple of the homespun alphas. And I found a meme on Pinterest, and I don't know about you, but scrolling Pinterest always sparks Bible journaling ideas for me. If I run across a poignant meme or a quote that I want to explore further, I'll just pin it right then and there to my Illustrated Faith board for later. And when I ran into this quote, I immediately knew I had the right supplies for making this Bible entry. So the meme says, "You have been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved." I mean, wow. It's a different perspective, right? So, but the mountains that I'm using here, they've been in my stash for such a long time, and I just immediately connected these supplies with this quote. And every time I see these mountains, they always make me think about the peaks and valleys of life. And so I started to think about what happens when we're sitting pretty on that peak. How do things change when we're dragging ourselves through the valleys? And how can we use our struggles to help others, like the quote suggests? So I looked up some verses that might reflect this idea, and I found Isaiah 41:15, which says, "Behold, I make of you a threshing sledge, new, sharp, and having teeth. You shall thresh the mountains and crush them, and you shall make the hills like chaff." And I love it. It's very important, to know that we have this ability. And, when we're high on that mountaintop and everything's going right, do we simply just relish in the fact that we're there and we forget about the climb or how long we were in the valley? Or instead, when we see someone else at the bottom of the same hill, do we want to give them all of our knowledge and resources to help them climb or crush that same mountain? And as I think about the valleys and the peaks I've experienced in my life and marriage, as a parent, or even as a child of God, I'm sad that I didn't realize my trials could be used for good. Hiding them or complaining about them seemed so much easier. And I built up giant walls of resentment too. But God, how unhealthy and unhelpful is that? And so, how can we use our struggles to encourage those around us? Maybe your story is a series of ups and downs that have now allowed you to encourage others to persevere. And maybe your story is an opportunity to help heal someone's marriage because you experienced a similar trial and were able to move that mountain out of the way. Maybe you spent so much time in the valley and climbing and chipping away at the mountainside until you finally feel settled at the top, and all you can do is praise God for not letting you fall off the edge. I mean, what an awesome way to encourage others to not give up, that God has a plan, and the view is amazing. And just thankfully, so much has changed in this part of my life as I get older and wiser. I'm learning a lot from my experiences, not only in a personal way, but passing on what I've learned to help others. In the thick of the mud, I know sometimes it seems like digging our hole is the only option. And maybe it is as we hurt and process and heal, but eventually, when it's behind us, it's so much easier to turn it into good. And so, just like the meme says, God put us in certain situations and assigns us very specific positions in life, I believe, to show others that with His help, His grace, His love, mountains can be moved. And that's profound. I just love that. So that's kind of where I was going with this entry. And as you can see, I've placed the mountains kind of where I wanted them, trying to keep the taller ones on the outside to not cover up so much of the words, but I'm really only focusing on just one little section. And here I've put down some stickers, and then I took them off because I just didn't like how those block stickers looked on those mountains. So I'm using the homespun alpha stamp, which is yay, finally back in the shop. So I'm super glad that everybody now has another opportunity to grab those because they're so cute. And I'm just I'm not typing, I'm stamping. Stamping just the word moved, so that way I can have just some I can see through the letters onto the mountains, which is kind of what I wanted. I really didn't want to hide those mountaintops because I think they're cute little snow-covered mountains. And next is going to be just filling in some of those smaller pieces of the text. So I'm just using a blue marker, or not a marker, it is a marker, yeah. And just writing in the you were, and then this, and then the last part of it to show others it can be. And that way it kind of just flows down the page and it gives your eyes something interesting to look at each time. And then I'm also feeling like there's a lot of black in the mountains, you know, that's basically the outline and a lot of contrast. So I'm using my Illustrated Faith pen to outline the white letters because I feel like they don't pop off of the page enough. And I'm going to leave the pink ones as is. And then I'm using a pink pen and I just underlined the verse there on that page. And I wanted to do a double page because I really couldn't choose which mountains I wanted to keep and which ones I wanted to discard. So I picked all of my favorites and then just decided I would use all of them. And fussing around with the placement of them because I thought that I could be comfortable with them being not even, but I wasn't. So, and here I'm just adding a couple of little elements there, a little tab and a little circle that was punched out from the cut aparts from the How He Loves Us kit. And then just doing a couple of little things to kind of add some interest. And I'm thinking about this arrow stamp. I kind of wanted to point to the verse, and I really like the lime color, so I've found an ink pad that has that lime color, and I leave it there for now. I'm not super happy with how I placed it. I guess I wasn't paying much attention to the arrow part, and I was just paying attention to the back section of it. So you'll see I do something a little extra to make it stand out just a bit. It makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. So here I am. I'm just going to really roughly just sketch around it. So it makes it stand out a little more. And then I'm feeling like there's just not enough going on the other mountain. So I'm using the same lime color and stamping the phrase "Tell It on the Mountains," and I'm stamping it in the two shades, one black, one lime, just so that it has a little contrast and pops off the page just a bit more. And this is it, guys. I'm just going to stamp a couple of different little hearts around just to pull some of the black, and we are finished. I really hope that you've enjoyed my process video, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks with another one. Talk to you guys really soon. Bye now.